I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
No, please. You're one of the best European pilots. Amazing.
Our faster pilot, which would be me.
Nice. About that accident you have.
And there's like one street bump on the way. There's one street. Not good if you're trying to ride a bike.
Was it painful?
Oh, yeah.
Out of the blue. No. From scratch.
Yeah.
He is the fastest pilot in Europe.
I personally feel like it's like riding a bike for me. So I need like a minute or two and I'm like back in it.
No.
So,
yeah. So.
I'm trusting you.
What do you think? Hello everyone. Today I'm having with me one of the best racers in the world, a German racer, Leon Schubert, but he's widely known as a DRL pilot, Haley Walker. Hello.
Hi.
So, are you enjoying Russia?
Yeah, actually, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought. The city of Kazan.
Have you been to Russia before?
No, I have not, actually. Not at all.
Okay.
When we looked at the temperatures to prepare for the race, it said like -26.
Yes. Yes.
And we were like
this.
But it's
you
not
never
that
experienced such temperature?
No, I think the lowest I've ever experienced was like -5.
Okay. So it was kind of scary.
Yeah, I have like.
So you never
all
fly
my
your
clothes.
quads in these temperatures?
No, not even close.
Like no experience. Because Min Chan, he said that the weather in Korea is quite similar to Russian. So he was kind of prepared and used to flying in these weather. So
yeah,
he's always prepared to anything. So did you enjoy your like competition in DRL with Min Chan? He won you.
I enjoyed the beginning. I didn't enjoy the end.
Then it was no fun.
Yeah, no, it was a good rivalry. I just wish the last few races would have gone a little different. In DRL, we fly the same tracks for multiple races when we fly IRL, and then as soon as the track suits one pilot or another, that pilot benefits from those three races on that one track. So, yeah.
Are you gonna win him one day?
I think
Probably
so.
this year, this season. Are you still in DRL? For this season?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
No, please. When they announce, when will they announce the roster?
We don't know.
Really?
No idea.
Because Chris in there.
Chris is in there because he won tryouts.
Yes.
There's a few other pilots that are back, but I can't talk on that.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sorry. If it was released, I could have talked about it, but
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay. So, but anyway, are you gonna win him like one day in any race?
I think so.
Did you do it?
Last season, I won.
Once?
I won 4 races in
Okay.
DRL. He won a total of 3 races, I believe.
Really?
So I won more races than him.
How did he win the championship?
Because the second to last race, I was still 3 points ahead going into it, and then I made an error with my strategy and practiced earlier and all that, and I got last place in that one, and he won.
Ah, okay.
So the point difference was huge.
Yes, so you use point system.
And the only way to catch him in the very last race is he would have had to been 10th or worse, and I would have had to win. And then in semifinals, he won the first heat and qualified for finals, and it was over.
Okay.
And nobody was able to catch me anymore because the two of us were so far ahead in the points that third place wasn't close enough.
Great, this is great.
Well,
So you're one of the best European pilots.
It depends. I'd say there's better pilots for different, the pilots are very specific to their setup, I think. There's pilots that are insanely good at 5-inch, but just not good at spec. And DRL is a very specific spec.
Yeah.
It's a very different flight style to the regular 5-inch flight style we're used to.
So did you enjoy the spec race? So it's spec?
There's definitely some things that bothered me a lot.
Well, name them. Name them
Are you
all,
sure?
please.
Are you
Yes.
sure? Oof.
Yes,
Oof,
please.
we're gonna be here for a while.
Okay, we have time.
So preferably, it would be allowed to have any available open source 7-inch frame.
Okay.
Because the frames we got were fine. They were durable. Not complaining about that. But the 3D printed parts, they were blocking the motors for pit stops when we're switching props. They were blocking a lot of air from coming down from the propellers. Personally, I would have preferred to be able to use cop light LEDs instead of the single LEDs. So, for example, if you know fly high LEDs, like the LED strips that go are a strip, like it's like a line of LEDs.
Do you like it?
Oh yes, I love them.
They break like very easily.
I feel like they break a lot less easier than the single LEDs. I feel like those are very, especially with the single LEDs. As soon as there's like one prop strike, all the LEDs down the line are done.
The same with this LED strip.
Yeah, but they're a lot cheaper.
Okay.
And I feel like they're easier to mount. You could have had the LEDs at a part of the 3D printed part where the props can't reach it.
Yeah.
Or have it better protected. The frame was fine. The canopy was always good. Personally, I might have preferred to have an RPM limiter for everyone because everybody was capping the drone anyway. So RPM limiters, so the max speed is the same. Have bigger motors, so motors
bigger
don't
motors.
die.
This is my question too.
Personally, my dream spec, my dream race, I saw a video on YouTube of a guy building an ultralight 5-inch, flying it with lithium-ion batteries on cruise speed. He was able to get 55 minutes flight time. And personally, I think a really cool race would be 8 drones at the same time, 2 per team. So 2 drones for one team fly at the same time. There's a third guy in charge of the pit stops. There's 1 mandatory pit stop, and you have to fly for like 1.5 hours or something, get the most laps you can. And then there's boost mode, so you have 2 foot pedals. One is for boost mode, like in Street League.
Yes,
and then one is for recharging the boost. So the drone flies slower for a little bit, and then you recharge the boost, and then you can boost again.
Okay.
Because I think one of the main problems we had in this race was overtaking people. It caused a lot of mid-airs. The gates were fairly small for the size of the drone. And I think with a boost mode... Yeah, they were fairly small for the size of the drone.
Okay.
If it was just 5-inch, the drones would have been smaller. It would have been easier to get past people in a gate. But I think with boost mode, it would be easier to overtake in straights. That was another thing with the track. There was no real good spot to overtake people because there was gates everywhere. If there was a bigger flag section, that would have been easier to overtake people like from the top, from the side. And I feel like it wasn't that much of a momentum-based track. It was fairly technical for the spec.
Yeah. What did you like about this race?
I mean, it's a completely new concept. We've had qualifications on the sim before, so the phygital part, where it's physical and digital, is not that new to drone racing, I feel like.
They made also races when guys fly the same track in online and IRL.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Would be great.
I feel like it's the concept of the whole event is really cool. It's not that new to drone racing. I feel like having so many pit stops and having to do battery management and all that is definitely very interesting because it brings the strategy part into it more, that I'm personally missing in regular open class 5-inch, where it's just like you racing the track.
Okay. Is it so in Mayhem?
Mayhem is similar, but you don't have battery management.
Okay.
Because you have unlimited amount of batteries.
You just fly all the quads?
Yes, and you don't fly just one quad. You have the pit mode switch, so you just switch to a different drone and immediately take off. And I think every time they land and take off, it's a new pilot too. So it's not the same pilot flying multiple laps. It's just like he comes in and the next pilot takes off immediately. And then what some teams did, they just took their best 2 pilots and then just switched back and forth for like hours.
So they need to have 10 quads, 20 quads? How many quads?
I think they turn up with a lot of quads. Probably like 4 per pilot minimum, maybe 5. I know every team has like a few timeouts or something to use to like pick up all the drones that are left on the track.
Okay.
So you get them back. That was something we were struggling with here. It wasn't that we couldn't get the drone back, it was that we couldn't get the battery back. And that early on in the race, it kills your entire strategy. We also made a mistake in the strategy. Our faster pilot, which would be me,
nice.
would have flown less laps if we were aiming for second place. Because first place, as soon as they get 50 laps, the race is over. So all the other teams have less than 50 laps, meaning the first pilot flew 25/26, and the second pilot definitely flew less. And I should have flown first to get the 26 laps.
Okay.
So in hindsight, yeah.
The last summer, we had a 24-hour race, actually, yes. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, like 3 pilots, and they have multiple quads.
Wait, like 3 pilots per team, or like?
Yes, 3 pilots per team, and they swap the roles all the time, like in Mayhem, and they have about, I don't know, probably 20 quads or so, and they fly all 24 hours without any pause. So it was kind of amazing.
That's cool. Yes. It's like limo.
Yes, absolutely. So like all these 24-hour things. Okay, how are you planning to spend the prize money for this race?
I've spent a lot of money on traveling last year. I've been all over the world.
Did you pay it by yourself?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, okay. All paid by myself. So last year I was of course in the US for the drone races.
Yes.
With DRL. I was at I/O. I was in LA a couple of times for filming reasons. I was in Scandinavia.
Great.
I did a bunch of like west of Europe, like Spain, Portugal, France, Italy. Been there for the first time, Vatican City, San Marino. And now I want to do kind of east of Europe. Haven't really been there yet. Russia is one of the big countries I've not been to. It's my first time. So that's also kind of something I can tick off my checklist.
Okay.
I mean, Russia's really big, so I feel like I have to travel some of the rest of Russia. Moscow, St. Petersburg. A lot of big cities, big names. And I really, really want to go to Tokyo. That's one of my big ones.
Yeah.
So I might spend the money on Tokyo.
On traveling. Really? This is nice.
Or filming equipment, who knows?
Oh no. Minchin said that he spent it on quads and saved some money for education reasons. So
he's done with high school. He finished last year.
He's 19. Sure. How old are you?
21.
Okay. Did
I finished high school, yeah.
What about college?
I have not started college. I'm trying to get into filming with drones. So last year I did a bunch of portfolio work. I have my first cinematic reel out on YouTube. And I'm trying to, I'm just giving it like a try this year, seeing how well it works.
Do you need some special education for this?
No. So I mean, everything I learn learning by doing pretty much.
Yeah.
I have the experience needed and the skills I can show via DRL and other events like that. And then it basically just, people don't really look at your education in the filming space. They look at the work you've done. Because if you have a degree, but your work looks like shit, then nobody's gonna hire you. Yeah.
How long have you been flying quads?
I think over 10 years.
10 years?
But I was doing freestyle for the beginning. So I started racing in 2019.
2019.
And then professionally, so I started racing in 2019, and my first professional contract in DCL was 2020. Yeah.
So also, of course, I'm going to ask you about that accident you have. Yes, please tell this story. I need to hear it. Just it was a month before entering the first professional team, you broke both of your arms. So, what happened? How did you cope with this?
Drone flying.
Really? Yeah. No way.
So, little context. Summer holidays, some little kid gets his first professional contract with the Japanese drone racing team in the Drone Champions League. Yeah. They send over the contract, he signs it, happy, goes to the beach, watches the sunset, drives home on his bike, and it's the Netherlands. It's a Dutch island. It's super flat, but like on the edge of the island, there's like these hill thingies to like keep the water from flooding the island. I drive down the hill, and there's like one street bump on the way. There's one street, but like one pothole.
It was waiting for you.
Oh, it was waiting for me. It did.
Definitely.
A year after, we like went back there and like spit on the pothole.
Oh no!
But, they should have fixed it. They should have fixed it. So like my front wheel jumps over, my feet slip off the pedals, and like drag along the floor like
What
this.
was your thoughts at this moment?
I was like, oh well.
Whoops.
And like it ripped me off the saddle, and there's this thing between men's legs that if it gets hit, it hurts a lot, and it like hit the bar in the middle. So like because of pain, I like let go of the handlebar. Not good if you're trying to ride a bike. And then I just ate shit and slid down. I slid down for like 9 meters because it was like a Dutch bike and they're really heavy.
Yeah.
So they don't like flip over anything. It's just like, so I was laying there on the side.
No.
And because I like stopped the fall with my arms, the bones pushed back into my joints and broke them.
Great. Amazing experience.
Yeah, and then 3 days later I started flying.
3 days later?
Yeah, because I had to recover. The problem was because then...
Are you a pincher?
Yes, I'm a pincher. And that made it worse because I have to be able to have a lot of movement and all that goes through the elbow where it was broken. So in the beginning I could
Was
do
it
like...
painful?
Oh yeah. I could like barely move anything.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I did my own
Should've
physiotherapy basically. And then I think it took 9 months for me to be able to extend my arm again. Because in the beginning I could only do this, like that was the max.
Really?
Yeah.
But you were still flying
Well,
in DCL too?
Yeah, I was flying. I could have already flown the second 2 races, but then there was issues. We were visiting my grandma, and there's like really bad Wi-Fi there, and like no good PC.
No way.
And at the time, like I wanted to stay home for the race, and my parents didn't let me. So yeah.
No way.
And then I flew the last 2 races at Lake Zurich, and actually did pretty well.
Was it live?
Yeah, it was.
I mean.
I had like a no, it was sim,
online.
but I had like a crazy battle with Chief Alex FPV, and who was with him? I forgot. But like we were battling.
Heads up.
It was
Was he
insane.
in Quad Force 1?
Yeah, it was Quad Force 1. It was Alex FPV and like some other kid. I forgot who it was. But like the 2 of us were going back and forth, and it was super close. And that's when the commentators like first like started noticing me, and I think that's when people started recognizing me in the drone racing scene.
So, and you entered DRL through draft?
Yes.
Draft selection, so you won the draft.
Yep.
That
I practiced so much for that.
You said like 8 hours a day?
No, more.
No, how much?
So the 10 days before the
How much?
finals, the 10 days before, I think the finals, I practiced 104 hours. So over 10 hours a day.
Yeah, 10 hours. Really? Just practice and not just the game switched on.
Well, practice for me includes looking at other people's lines, analyzing tracks, and all that. So flying, stick time, and that. So yeah.
And how many hours do you practice every day, like now? Or probably in a week? In a month? No way. Don't tell me that you fly just out of the blue. No. From scratch.
Yeah. I'm very much...
He is the fastest pilot in Europe.
Well, the thing is, as soon as like the DRL season stopped, I was very exhausted. Both years, I was... for the first year, I still had to focus on high school, finish that. So I told myself like no drones for like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, and then this year, I didn't touch a drone.
This year, it's February. It's March.
I mean, like after February, after the race in Miami, I didn't race a drone until I/O, and then after I/O, I didn't race a drone until like 3 weeks ago.
I/O was in December?
No, in summer.
In summer.
I personally, I feel like it's like riding a bike for me. So I need like a minute or 2, and I'm like back in it.
No
so.
way.
I warm up really fast. And the thing is, back in the day, I used to fly Velocidrone, DCL, and DRL at the same time, all 3 with different rates, different camera angles.
So you use different rates in simulators?
Not anymore. But I used to fly different rates in Velocidrone, DCL, and DRL, because it's a different flying style. 5-inch needs fast rates, DRL needs really slow rates to be smooth in the corners. And then DCL is like a medium in between. It's like you don't need the super fast rates, but you also can fly with the super slow rates because it's really technical and fast. And then I used to fly different camera angles for all three as well. So in DRL, I used to fly, I think, 45 to 50. DCI, I used to fly 66, and then Velocitron.
66.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And in Velocitron?
Velocitron, I think it depended on the drone as well, but I think usually like 55.
So, and now you're using the same
And now
rate?
I'm just using 50 everywhere.
And the same rates everywhere?
Yes, and I switched radio before this race, like 3 days before the race, I got a new radio. I was flying, so my first season in DRL, they were still flying the Taranis X9D, and with the equipment they sent us, they didn't send a radio. So I bought a radio last minute on eBay for like 200 euros. just to get used to the Taranis X9D, because before I was flying, I won tryouts on the QX7.
I have the same.
Yeah, like a QX7 that had a broken gimbal, like it was awful. And then
he won the trials, the DRL trials with the broken Taranis QX7.
And a USB
radio
cable. The USB cable was like this long. So I was like this next to the PC.
Seriously.
Yeah, and that was so stupid. They asked us to record somewhere in the room to record our reactions. And I recorded with a GoPro, and I had the wrong setting. I had it on loop or something. So recorded 10 seconds, and that's it.
No way.
That would have been such a good video. Unfortunate, yeah.
So now you fly the same rates on every simulator, and what about quads? So you have the same rates for
yes.
open class, for 5
I've been flying the
for
same
7
rates since 2021 DRL.
The same rates, you don't change them?
I haven't changed them. Back after tryouts, I had different rates, but we have 6 rate profiles to choose from in DRL, and you have to adapt to one of those 6.
Really?
Yes, and
rate profiles.
Yeah,
so they kind of give you rate profiles.
They give me 6 options, and I have to choose one.
Really? That's interesting.
And so I chose the one where the curve was the closest to my old rates, and then I kept flying from that.
This is interesting. So this is the real spec. So even in rates, they kind of put you in the same conditions. Every pilot should be in the same conditions. So all these guys, they just chose their rates out of 6 of them. Really interesting. I didn't know.
I believe there was a time where if you're a world champion, you get to have your own rates as one of the 6 profiles. Yeah.
No way. You should really try really hard to get your own rate profile.
These are my own rates now. Actually, the majority of pilots use that rate profile, I believe. It's 0.5, 0.8, no expo, and it's 500 degrees per second.
Interesting. Could you share it?
0.5 RC rate, 0.8 whatever the other one is, super rate I think, and then 0.0 expo.
Okay.
On all channels, so it's the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Personally, I wish DRL had something like boost mode, because with the bigger drones, flying you have to fly a different line, because the dirty air is crazy. On a straight, you either have to fly above or a meter to the side. Otherwise, you get all the bad prop wash. And you fall back a lot. So boost mode would be something I really want to see with bigger spec drones.
How much does their quad weigh?
In DRL, about 1.3 kilograms.
Oh, shit.
And it's 5S, 7-inch, and throttle cap.
Okay.
So it's really heavy.
Really slow.
It's not that slow actually, but because it's so heavy and the tune is not that good, because Betaflight 3.5 is on there. I'm not kidding. There's no turtle mode.
Really?
But yeah,
they tune it by themselves?
I think so, yeah. It flies fairly well for it being that old of a Betaflight version. But because it flies fairly bad in corners and doesn't handle perfectly, you have to adapt your flying style to it. So it's like an art. It's a form of art flying these things, because you fly straight and there's a hairpin turn, so you go a bit to the right so you could swing wider into it, you keep more momentum, and then you have to turn around 10 meters before the flag. And that's something you really have to practice, flying full speed and then actually knowing when the drone stops, where the apex is and all that. And that takes a lot of practice.
Very interesting.
It's a lot of fun to fly.
Yeah. So this is very specific.
Yes, and because it's so hard to like maneuver, pilots are more prone to making mistakes in corners. So the racing is more exciting because there's nobody's able to fly actually perfect.
Okay. So, but it's kind of not that drone racing, like classical drone racing, as I imagine it to be, so like this. So we kind of think, the community kind of think that DRL, this is the most desirable place to be for pilots, and now it turned out that it's kind of not. It's very specific.
I would say it's still the place to be if you want to make a living with drone racing.
Yes,
I think there's no
this
other way.
Is the only.
It's the only way.
The only way to make a living out of drone racing.
Even then, you have to be at the top of DRL.
Really? Do you get some extra money for playing it?
There's a prize money for the races and for the season. But like if you want to make a living, you have to be at like the top 5, top 4.
Really?
Yeah.
To stay year after year there.
Well, not only to stay, you're not guaranteed to stay. The contracts expire after a year.
Okay.
And you just have to get invited back. So even if you're like 3rd place, you might not come back. But you're more likely to come back if you're first than if you're last, of course. But of course, DRL also, part of their whole thing is like the media presence. So if you're good in front of a camera and help the show and like help grow the sport, you're also more likely to come back because they need viewers to be engaged.
DCL is going this way too this year because they kind of started explaining to pilots that you need to be more emotional, and like drone racing, they're like always like this, and for now they want us to be a bit more active, be in front of the camera.
Want to hear a secret? I'm going to come back to Raiden Racing.
Really?
I'm flying DCL again.
This year?
Yeah.
One Russian pilot is joining Raiden Racing.
Vladim? No, what's his name?
Valprim.
Yes,
Valprim.
that one.
Yes,
Valprim.
He's very young and very promising. He's, I guess, 15 years old.
I saw some flying. It's
Do you like
crazy.
him?
The flying style I like. Yeah, it's good. It's so smooth.
He's very talented.
It's like I feel like the kids these days, like if a 15-year-old is already flying at that level, he's gonna be so good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wish I started racing when I was that young because I only did freestyle and like I flew like once a week maybe. Yeah, I would be insane if I did drone racing earlier.
Well, so we will see who will be faster in DCL, you or our beloved Valprim.
Well, I definitely have to start putting in stick time.
Yes, absolutely, because he's crazy fast. He's crazy fast, and he started, I guess, I always think of him as an overrated pilot. At the beginning, it was like, I guess, 3 years ago, probably 3 years ago. He started about 3 or 4 years ago like this. So, and I thought that he's kind of overrated, but then he started winning race after race, and like he became a champion, a national champion here in Russia.
Oh, really?
Yes, it
was.
Wow. Yes, it was like 2 years ago, I guess.
That was 2 years ago?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, no. He became a national champion, and now, finally, he's in a big, crazy, fast team. So I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, that's going to be tough, flying for Raiden this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, but we saw at this race even, we saw one of the pilots from Kazakhstan. He's like really young as well, I think. I forgot how young. But they advanced to the top 8. I mean.
Was he racing?
Yeah, he was racing, I'm pretty sure.
I guess, I don't know how old is he, but also in Kazakhstan there is other pilot, Timo FPV, and he's 10 years old. He is crazy fast, but also, no, Spain drone team, they take one Russian pilot too. Do you notice Team Reactor?
Yeah.
2 pilots.
Oh, Plantan FPV.
Yes. And he has a little brother. He's 7 years old.
No.
And he is gonna be in this in Spain drone team too. He's absolutely crazy. And
Yeah, they're
he
just
is
getting
flying
younger and younger.
for like, I don't know, 7 months?
Kids just learn differently. I feel like if you start drone racing at like 22, you're out.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
the phase where you learn the best is when you're a kid, and if you start,
When you're a kid, how old are you? Like 10?
I forgot. It's like a quote I heard once. I think it was Bill Gates. Like whatever you do between like the age of 10 to 16 is what you're going to be the best in the world at,
Okay.
or what you have the chance to be the best in the world at. Because that's like when you're learning the most. Like your brain starts wiring these things and you learn everything so much faster, so much better. It's one of the reasons Minchen is so good, because he did helicopters when he was younger. And
3.
yeah, like, and
Like
the helicopters, like the 3D, like he has a completely different view on what he does with the sticks
Yeah,
than other
absolutely.
regular drone pilots. Same with Evan Turner. He used to fly planes. So they look at the sticks differently. I think that also gives them an advantage.
I asked Min Chen what's the secret sauce of Asian pilots, because everybody knows that they're the best, and he said practice. He said that European pilots lack practice, by the way, and now we know that this is really true. This is the first. Then he said that the Asian parents, they kind of support their kids in a different way.
Yeah.
And also, what was the third part? Probably I'm gonna remember it, but I want to ask you, why didn't your father come?
Here?
Yes, he's always with you.
No, he's not. He came to the race to the finals in Miami, and that was the first race, the first DRL race he came to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was leading the season, and we had the hopes I was going to win, and he wanted to be there to support me. And I'm very grateful for that. I think it's the first drone race he ever was there for.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, he like watched some of the sim races like upstairs, and
In the,
I mean,
in the room.
and even if he didn't watch them, I was so loud I was going to wake him up. Yeah, especially when we win the race. Like I think 2 houses down, you could still hear me screaming.
Everybody knew.
But like one of the main reasons I couldn't really practice lately is because I used to have a field to practice before the DRL season started, and then they kicked me out, and so now I don't have a place to practice for like 1.5 years. Because drones are like very hated in Germany, so it's like really hard to find a place to practice. There is open fields,
Yeah.
but
you
they're
use them?
no, they're nature preserved areas.
Okay.
So, and
Can you
I
use
used
your backyard?
no.
Really?
No, my backyard is like way smaller than this room. Way smaller.
Evan Turner once was on the interview, and he said that he practiced in the garage with his tiny trainer.
Our garage is full. Like literally, we have no space. I used to practice with my tiny trainer on like the playground in front of my house.
Yeah.
But it's like really dangerous because there's people walking through.
Oh,
there's like a pathway like through the middle of the playground.
For now in Russia, you can't fly drones like nowhere. You just can't. You just can't do it outdoors at all. And we practice indoors like a lot. So we rent like stadiums, classrooms, places like this. So
another problem I have is I don't have a driver's license, so I would need to store the gates at the field. The field I had earlier, where I was practicing with Pavelos and Singularity, was perfect. It was a soccer.
It has its own field.
Yeah, but we were practicing at my place in Germany, and it was like a soccer field, and I was able to store my gates there. I had power to charge. I even had toilets. Like I had everything. It was perfect. And yeah, then they were complaining. The first soccer field I was on before is the soccer club I play for. And they kicked me out because there's like people living in the area and they were complaining about the noise. And then the second field I was flying at with Pavel and Singu is like in an industrial area. Like there's no one to bother, right? And the field is not used until like 4 p.m. But still, I somehow got kicked out because apparently you're not allowed to do motorsport on like the area. But it's not like I'm doing donuts with my BMW on like the middle of the field. Like I'm flying drones. What do you mean?
So it's really hard to practice. Okay, yes, Minshan has its own field, and he said that unfortunately he has he have to drive there for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Yes, and he said that this is too long for him, because I told him that some European races, they have their own fields on their backyards, and their backyards is like huge, like a soccer field, yes. And he said if he had such a place to practice, he would practice before school or something like. So he would be even great there. Thank God he didn't have any field like this.
Well, I had to ride my bike to practice, so, and it took like 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
20 minutes on my bike, and with like the heavy drone bag and like all that shit. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
This is crazy. Okay,
but I didn't break both my arms again, so we're good.
Oh shit! That was horrible. Really, I'm really sorry for that. But I lived out it, so
yeah.
Congrats, you're a great racer and a great human being.
Thank you very much.
So I'm very happy to see you here. I'm very happy that you kind of said yes when I invited you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to this interview. And I hope probably if you are free, if you have time, probably you will return to Russia.
Hopefully.
Okay, in August, I hope that we will have a race, Rostec. So if you have no plans, probably.
In August?
Yes,
it's I'll have to check the schedule. But is it FIA? FIA?
No. No, we can't have any FIA races. So no, it's just our race. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of pilots talk about that race.
Really?
Yeah, they were like talking about last year's Rostec.
I texted a lot of pilots.
Okay.
Actually. So thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for the invitation. Glad to be here. Yeah, and I'm excited to see the rest of the race today.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, food. By the way, yes. This is my friends. They work for a drone company. They do some races.
I love stickers. I always love stickers.
They're always so amazed by drone racers who really like stickers. Yeah. So this is I don't know, but
nice.
have you tried? We are in Tatarstan, and
yes.
they have their own cuisine, their own culture. Have you tried this?
I've heard about it, and all I've heard is not good things. I've heard it's really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not tried it yet. Should I?
Just try it.
Now?
Yes,
okay.
just try it.
Yak, exactly.
Yes. It's pastry. It's like flour, butter, and honey. I guess Frenchies will love this.
Frenchies will love this?
Yes, I guess so.
Who told me that they hate it? I think it was...
No!
Somebody was like, oh, it's so bad, don't try it.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
Who said this? One?
I forgot who it was. Who it was, but they were like, dude, it tastes as bad as it looks.
No way.
I can't even get it out. It's like...
No. It's.
I just have to do this. It's like super sticky, yeah.
Are you filming?
All right, here we go.
Okay, great.
I'm trusting you.
What do you think?
I was expecting worse.
Thanks.
No, it's okay.
You was expecting worth from Russia, from chak-chak. Okay.
Always expecting the worst.
We disappointed you.
No, that's good.
See?
It's not bad. Oh God.
Bon appetit.